Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be taking a look at the much anticipated Topsky Prime 1S FPV goggles. Now me and Topsky have got a shaky past because when they sent me the F7X FPV goggles they were in a pretty unusable state, and I think there was a mix up there. I think they sent me a prototype and they have since fixed most of those problems, although I still don't see those goggles as one of my favorite. Anyways, the thing that is interesting about this one is that it is very cheap. I mean, it is £63 and it's not a box goggle really. There are two LCD screens in there. In fact, they have given me all of the specs on the back, so that's going to make it easy for me. One thing I'm confused about though is this S here, it's just stuck on. Now usually when there is a letter after a product it usually means that it is better, doesn't it? Unless you have got a Civic Type S. Apologies to all of the people that have a Civic Type S. I'm sure it's a fantastic car, but I think their Type R is their flagship model. Nothing underneath there, so yeah, not sure what that's about. But anyways, let's take a look at the specification. So we have got a 86-degree field of view. We've got a resolution of 640 by 480. We've got IPD adjustment of 58 to 72 millimeters. We have got a internal 2000 milliamp 1S battery. It has got 5.8 gigahertz diversity modules with built-in high sensitivity receivers that have 48 channel options, and it has got high-speed one-click search. We have got integrated analog mode, DVR, so yeah, it just means it's got a DVR and that it supports AV in. It says micro SD card here. Oh, and then it just goes on to another line, because I was wondering, does it come with one? But it says up to 32 gigabytes. And then it says video compression format AVI, and then it's got like all of the buttons and stuff. And then NTSC PAL Auto Select. We've got a headphone jack, AV input, it's already mentioned that. And then micro USB port for charging. So let's take a look at what we get in the box. So looks like we have got a sticky pad here. We have got a foam protector thing, and I think that is just for it in the box there. And then let's take the thing out. So man, yeah, it seems really nice quality for the price. I mean, yeah, £63. I guess the EV800D, which is the box goggle that I recommend, is about £70. So yeah, that's not bad at all. We have got a protector here, which is telling me straight away that this is going to be a fingerprint magnet, but I believe it's removable. So yeah, that's the goggles themselves, but let's see what else that we have got. So we have got a Prime 1S manual here, but do you know what? There is more information on Banggood's site. There is a English manual on there, so go and check that out. What else have we got here? So we have got two rubber ducky antennas. We have got a spare foam thing for the face plate there. We've got a wipe cloth, and then we've got a USB cable. Looks like a pretty decent USB cable. I'm not going to be using these antennas though, so I am going to take a look at it and see what is going on. Alrighty, so I have had a look around at this thing, and it seems like the S just means the less superior version, because if you look at the pictures here, got some nice antennas here. It doesn't matter anyways because I got some better ones. So I'm using the Omway Cloverleaf here and then the Menace Pico. Now with these SMA adapters being on the side there, I've had to use a 90-degree adapter to get it above, because otherwise if it's sticking out that way or it's not quite reaching over the top of here, I'm going to get poor reception. And I've also angled the Menace antenna upwards because I tend to find that I look at the ground a little bit when I'm doing FPV. Now it seems that everybody has had different problems with this goggle when they have received it, and I have got a different problem, and that is the band and the channel search doesn't work, and I'm only getting a picture on Fat Shark channel 1, and anytime I press this, nothing happens. But yeah, I will show you what is going on with the thing. So, to turn it on, it is a long press of this power button here, and we should get a beep. There we go, and then it should turn on. Let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. Now, can you see where it says no DVR there? That makes it look like there's a problem, doesn't it? But I have got my SD card in there, and what that actually means is that it just isn't recording anything. So we've got the record button at the top, and I'll show you what happens when you press that. Another thing as well while we're looking at this is it says it's a 4:3 aspect ratio, but it definitely isn't. I will overlay some footage that I have done. What I did was I took the HDO, which is a 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's weird. It's kind of like not a 16:9 aspect ratio, but it's not a 4:3 aspect ratio either. So anyways, let me show you what is happening with the search. So I'm gonna plug a copter in here. It's on Fat Shark 1. So let's just put it up to the screen as best as I can there. Now, sometimes it just brings a picture up. If I just leave it, it's like it's just constantly searching there, and yeah, nothing is coming up. So I'm going to press the auto search button now, and if we take a look, it's doing auto search. It's going through all of the channels there, and there is nothing that has come up on the picture. Now, this is just really odd, because sometimes when I just plug the copter in, so I'll unplug it and plug it back in, I will get a picture. In fact, you saw it flashing up there for a little second. Is it going to give me a picture? Don't think so. Let's try changing the channel numbers. So I know it's Fat Shark 1, but 2, 3, I mean, that's having no effect whatsoever. So, you know, I can change the band. It's really odd. Now, the RX is turned on, as you can see at the bottom there. If I turn it off, turn it back on again. How about that? We have got a picture. So is that what I need to do? Will the channels change now? So yeah, let's just try that. So changing the channels, and as you can see, nothing happens. Very bizarre. So yeah, something definitely bust with my one, and it's quite easy to pixel spot with these as well, but yeah, very odd. Some strange aberrations as well. I thought it was because of the low resolution, but there's definitely some lines over the screen when you move it around, and I will try and show a shot of that, but it's quite difficult with a camera. Anyways, to start recording, we press this button here, and then we should get a record icon in the top there, as you can see, and then that stops it. We can also take a photo. I don't know why this feature is ever here or why you would ever want to use it, but it is there. And then we have got the mode button here. So if we turn that off there, if we turn the RX off, then if I short press the mode button, you can see it then goes into AV in mode. Now if I press the mode joystick to the bottom, we have got all of these options here that you can change. The screen isn't that bright actually, but we can change the diversity speed, so you have to go into there by pressing down. We've got medium, slow, fast, so yeah, different options there. And as I say, brightness, contrast, color, volume, that is going to be for the headphones, and then we have got some color options as well, so red, green and blue gain, and then you can change it to Chinese if you like. So here we are looking at an image of the Ishin EV800D goggles. This is in the 4:3 format, and I would say that the image is crisper, and of course they switched to 16:9 as well, but the 4:3 isn't quite 4:3, it is slightly stretched. And if we take a look at an image of that, this is hard to show on a camera, but I can definitely spot more pixels, and I think the image is slightly darker as well. So you're going to have to decide which is best for you, because yeah, the EV800D is a great goggle, but it has a much bigger footprint than the primes, and of course the primes are cheaper as well. So to play the DVR back, we just have a short press on this button here. You have to turn off the RX for it to work. And don't try and do this when it's charging, because it does some pretty weird stuff. But yeah, I'm just gonna short press that button there, and then it's the same menu as the F7X, so we can cycle through our different videos left to right there. And then if we want to play one, it is the down function and it will automatically play. Doesn't seem like there is a way to fast forward, because if I just move along there, then it just moves to the next one. So if we just select this one here, move to the right, and it just moves to the next one, same as if you go to the left and then up exits it. And then if I just press down on it, we get an error, so maybe another bug there, and then everything just disappears and it exits. So yeah, another bug there. Hello, testing 1 2 3. Is this in sync? Audio, is it working? Blah 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 blah. This is the weird thing that it does sometimes when you turn it on, and yeah, it's just very odd. And then I try and change the channels and we get sort of intermittent viewings of the channels changing, but nothing happening there. And you know what, it's a real shame as well, because the quality of the plastic here is really good. Can you hear that beeping there? That is because it is low on power, and if you short press the power button, it should tell you how much power that you've got left, and it won't focus there, but you can see I've got no power, so I will turn it off. But yeah, some nice features. We've got IPD here, which works nicely. I have to have them maxed out to the edge. We've got these diopters here, and apparently they go up to -8. However, they seem to turn indefinitely. They do get stiffer at a point, but my prescription is -2, and it doesn't seem to do anything for me. I can see the picture fine, but nothing actually changes when I move them. We've got the AV in there, and then we have got the headphone out there. We've got the USB, which is for charging. So you get a red light here when it is charging, and then it goes blue when it's fully charged. You get 1 hour and 20 minutes use out of it. Yes, I did time it, but I think that is very reasonable. And yeah, you know, the nose piece is not causing me an issue. I've got a massive nose. That's usually a problem with these box goggles. This thing is a bit, well, you know, it's coming off. It could do with Velcro. You know, I'm trying not to be too critical because it's a cheap goggle, and the DVR records in 16:9, oddly, and it records at a resolution of 1280 by 720p. The bit rate's quite low at just over 2 megabit, but I think that's because its container is H.264, so the bit rate doesn't need to be as high to have just as good of a quality. By the way, the DVR, it records in 30-minute segments, so I think that is pretty good. But let's take this thing apart and see if there's anything that I can do to fix it. So these 3 screws have all come out fine, but I've got a screw here that is just spinning and spinning and is not getting loose. By the way, don't do this with yours, because any amount of dust or even a fingerprint gets on one of those screens, then it is just going to be impossible to clean. I'm just doing this because this one is bust. So while I'm here, I might as well take out these straps because those need to come off. Really nice quality strap, I have to say, but that's no good when the channels don't work properly, now is it? Well, that 3rd screw is just spinning and spinning, but I can see it coming apart, so I'm gonna just see if I can take it apart anyways and see what happens. Oh, yes, but be careful because there might be things connected. We've got ribbon cables here, look, can you see? So that needs to be disconnected. By the way, what I'm hoping to get out of this is to take all of this apart, and when I put it back together, it is going to work perfectly like everybody else's. What do you think my chances are? To the side. So the battery is wedged in here, so I'm just going to disconnect that for safety, and that is everything. So yeah, we've got a couple of boards here on the top for the USB, and yeah, those are screwed down there, so I think I'm just gonna leave all of that in place. So it looks to me like the Diopter Dial connects to here, and all it does is just slide it out by this tiny distance, which is probably why I'm not seeing any difference in the image, because is that really gonna make much of a difference? Maybe with these magnifiers here, I don't know, but yeah, that's what it does. I think you can see we've got like a metal screw there and it runs along there, but there is not much movement that goes on there at all when that's all together, if any. And also, when that does move around, we've got some ribbon cables there that I know for a fact do not like to be moved because they get cracks in them and they start working. So on both sides it does look like we have got independent receivers. Do those just slot into place? Yes, they do. They're on pins. Look at that. So yeah, I need to be careful taking those out there. Now I don't think I can get these two mixed up because the pins are offset. So this one won't go in that side and this one won't go in that side. This one also has the power connector on it as well. This one's got some tape over the top of it. There's the screw that just kept on spinning. I guess the thread is bust or something, but that ain't moving anywhere. So to get the rest of this apart, there are some screws here, but there's no way that we can get to them, so I can only imagine that this unclips. Yeah, I can see a clip there, so there must be one on this side as well, and that's coming apart. Just give it a waggle. Oh, there we go. But then we've got some ribbon connectors there, haven't we? So we're gonna have to be so careful here, otherwise none of this is gonna work. Gonna disconnect those. Be very careful. And then the other side, and those should slide out. But yeah, these are so brittle. But that's the main board. You can see where the micro SD card goes in there, and it looks like we've got some tiny screws. There is a dead pixel in here, and when I shut one of my eyes it's not in the other screen. Actually, I think there's two dead pixels. My brain wants to think it's dust and you can blow it off, but no, it's going to be a dead pixel, I think. So it looks like I have to undo these 4 screws here, but also these screws here as well, and those are a hex driver. I cannot believe that that is all the diopter is, and it doesn't even move that much when it's in the casing. Okay, so all those 4 screws are out. And let's take this thing out as well. So this should now come out completely, and those are the lenses there, and then these are the LCDs. And actually I am seeing a little bit of dust on them. So I imagine if I take this back part off here, are they stuck on? Let's have a see what happens. No, they're not stuck on. They're just on like a piece of plastic, I think, both of them. Yeah, look at that. So those are the 2 screens. Now I've just realised that it's going to be really difficult to put this back together because these slots here are really close to the plastic and they can easily get damaged, so I think I am going to remove this board as well. So there is the serial number of the LCD that if you put into Google will retrieve 0 results. So I'm going to use this cloth to try and wipe some of these dust particles off, and if it doesn't work I can use it to wipe away the tears later. So now this has all been put back together by a trained professional. Let's turn it on and it's just going to work perfect now, obviously. So there goes the on button there, and hopefully the screens turn on. Yeah, we've got both of the screens turned on. You can see that they are not very bright there. Let's plug a copter in. You what? It's picked it up. What? Let's try the auto search. So I think that's this back one here. What? I can see. What? It is working. So obviously some kind of loose connection. Now this copter is on race band 1, so let's plug him in and let's do a search. I can see it picking up the channels. That's ridiculous. Loose connection. Reviewer's curse. So going by that, the channel change should work as well. And it is doing. So my conclusion is that either, you know, one of these wires weren't connected properly, or there's a lot of bends in these flat flexible cables and they don't like it, and if there's a weak point then it's not going to work properly. This is just crazy. I wonder if I can get it back together and get it working properly. They don't look like 4x3 either. They look like 16x9 to me, or 16x10, something like that. These are not 4.3. Now I'm filming in 4K here because I can physically see the horizontal lines that I was talking about earlier. I don't know if it's gonna show up on the actual recorded footage of the camera that I'm pointing it at with, but I can see it on the viewfinder. So now everything is put back together, let's plug in a copter and see if I can put an end to this fiasco. Well, we've already got a picture, so I'm going to press the search button. And it's going through all of the different channels there, what's it landed on. Actually, it's just flickering through. It didn't do that before. Must be one of those cables there. So what did that land on again? If I just check the channel. So that is band E, so that's not right. So let's search again. It will find ghosting channels. I don't think it's going to find the strongest one. So it's going to keep going through there. What have we got there? I couldn't see, but what I'm going to do is, let's just do it manually. So that is E, and we want race, and we want 1. And would you Adam and Eve it? It is working. So would I recommend this goggle to anybody? Well, I would say if you received one like this, then absolutely not. It has been a nightmare. But I know this is an early version and there will be people that get a perfect one and they will say it's an absolute bargain. It is the cheapest goggle out there that has 2 LCD screens, a DVR and diversity as well. But you know, I've had an absolute nightmare with this one, and it's not quite a 4:3 image, and it's not quite a 16:9 image, and I'd love that to be correct and to be able to switch as well. I know it's a cheap product, so it doesn't really matter, but I do have one dead pixel, and that really bothers me. So if you get a perfect one, I would recommend it, but if you got one like this, absolutely not. But let's get and fly this thing. Well, it's getting dark, so I'm gonna have to hurry up. Saying that, it's a CCD camera, so should be fine, shouldn't it? I'm using my floss here because it is the model that I have tested most of these cheap goggles with. So I thought it was important to compare. Now it's running a 1550 battery, which it's not tuned for, so it might appear to be a little bit juddery. Actually, it's not too bad. Do you know what? These goggles, they're really comfortable. Do a bit of an orbit there. Right, let's go for the test, which is behind these trees here, and see if it cuts out. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. Just a couple of lines. As I say, I always use this copter to do that. And it's behaving fine. Although I will say, you know, with it being autumn, then, you know, there's not the leaves blocking it, but still, for the price of these goggles, that's very acceptable, I would say. I am getting what you would call the screen door effect in the VR world, which is just the pixels that you can see on the screen. But this will get you flying, you know. And it is a shame that there's no 4:3 option. That would have been awesome. Yeah, definitely seen some screen door effect there, and sort of lines across the screen as well, just where the pixels are dividing. But man, can't complain. That picture's pretty good. So, you know, we are 120 meters over here, but the best range test really is behind those trees. If you go and look at my other cheap goggle reviews and I go behind here, sometimes I crash because the breakup is that bad. Not with this one though. So yeah, pretty impressed. No latency at all. It'll get you in the air. I can see that I'm dipping my head down, which you shouldn't do. So the patch antenna, it's pointing to the ground and still getting decent reception. Getting a bit of breakup over there. That's because I'm behind myself, I think. I've got the switching to slow here. Anyways, I think that's my battery, but yeah. Comfy on the face. Able to fly with. Obviously, you know, not as good as Fat Shark's. But yeah. I'll bring it in for a landing, so I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.